G'day everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name's Cal and I make videos about frequent flyer points and premium travel. If that's something you're interested in, hit that like and subscribe button. Let's go. With the cost of living crunch hitting everyone pretty hard at the moment, leisure travel has been put on the back burner for a lot of people, especially families. So today's episode is about a question I see frequently, which is, should I use my points on economy? And simply put, the answer is yes. While a lot of time on this channel I talk about premium travel and extracting the maximum value from your points, the reality is that it either isn't something that a lot of people care for, see as unrealistic, or just plain impossible, and that's frankly somewhat true. Business class and first class reward seats can be very hard to come by at the best of times, and if you have more than one or two passengers, it can be nearly impossible without splitting everyone up onto different flights. And what about the family in the suburbs who don't want to go to Europe for a holiday and wouldn't mind just zipping up to the Gold Coast for a week? Well, that is actually a pretty good use of your points if you've been saving up your flybys or the family Qantas credit card has been slowly stacking up points in the background. I'm going to have a look at a few theoretical examples to see if it is really worth using your points on economy seats to offset the cost of the flights. To find out more on how to value your points in depth, click over to this video. This is also not me advocating for using points plus pay for your flights. I'm still only strictly talking about reward seats for the best possible value. I'm going to be looking at a few examples. One is a return trip for 4 people from Melbourne to the Gold Coast, 2 people from Melbourne to Bali one way, 2 people from Melbourne to LA one way, and 2 people from Melbourne to Manchester one way. If I did all these as return trips, you would all be bored, so you can just assume the return leg is going to be the same points as the outbound leg and double the whole costs. Melbourne to the Gold Coast for a family of 4. A quick search on the Velocity site shows availability for 4 seats from Melbourne to the Gold Coast on reward seats for 9,400 Velocity points and $46 in taxes. If we look at the same fare, paying cash, it's worth $139. You'll notice I'm referring to the choice fare price rather than the light fare, and that's because reward seats with Virgin are comparable to the choice fares. This is also a good time to remind everyone that you shouldn't ever really book light fares. Nearly no status credits, less points, and no checked luggage, even if you have status, is worth the $10 in difference it usually is. The return flights are the same points, same taxes, but the cash fare is still on sale at $119, so this will make things interesting. 9,400 points times by 4 passengers is 37,600, doubled for the flight back for 75,200 Velocity points. Same with the taxes, 46 by 4 is $184, doubled for the return flight is $368 in taxes. Now we know that the cash fare is $139 for one of the legs and $119 for the other. So 139 by 4 is $556 and 119 by 4 is $476, giving us a cash total for the trip of $1,032. To work out the cents per point valuation, the first step is to deduct the reward seat taxes from the cash fare, which is $1,032 minus $368 for a value of $664. We then times this by 100 for 66,400 and divide it by the number of points. In this case is 75,200 for a cents per point value of only 0.8 cents per point. If you've seen my points value video, you know business reward seats are around 5 cents per point. 75,200 Velocity points and $368 in taxes is not the best value you'll ever find, but if it's the difference between a holiday or not a holiday, the value is for you to decide. Let's have a look at the Qantas option. The flights from Melbourne to the Gold Coast are slightly more expensive, 12,000 Qantas points and $42 in taxes or $155 in cash. There is a Jetstar option which is slightly cheaper, but I would strongly recommend everyone avoids Jetstar where you can. 3,000 points to fly Qantas over Jetstar is definitely worth it. Remember, friends don't let friends fly Jetstar. Same as earlier, but this time a one-way flight. 12,000 Qantas points times 4 passengers for $48,000, $42 in taxes times 4 passengers for $168 in taxes. The cash fare of $155 by 4 passengers would be $620. Remove the taxes from the cash for a value of $452. 452 times 100 is 45,200. divided by the 48,000 Qantas points for a 0.9 cents per point value. Slightly better than the Velocity offering, but slightly higher taxes. If the return flights were exactly the same, you'd be looking at 96,000 Qantas points and $366 for a Gold Coast holiday. Here's one for all my friends who head to Bali every year and tell me that points are useless to them. On the Velocity website, 22,300 points and $145 in taxes, or $405 in cash one way. For 2 passengers, that's 44,300 Velocity points and $290 in taxes, or $810 in cash. Take away the taxes from the cash fare for a value of $520. 520 by 100 is 52,000, divided by 44,300 Velocity points for 1.1 cent per point. Getting better. More than twice the value of the Apple Watch on the Velocity Reward Store. How about Australia to the USA? Onto the long-haul international flights. Melbourne to LA on United using Velocity points, 2 passengers, 89,600 Velocity points and $226 in taxes. The cash value of these fares would be $3,134, minus the taxes on the reward seats is $2,908 in value. 2,908 times 100 is 290,800. Divide that by the 89,600 points for a rather large 3.2 cents per point value. That's pretty good value for money. What about the Qantas option? Same route, Qantas plane, 2 passengers would be 83,800 Qantas points and $424 in taxes. The same fare in cash is worth $3,324 minus the taxes for a value of $2,900. 2,900 times 100 is 290,000, divided by the 83,800 Qantas points is 3.4 cents per point. Slightly higher value than the USA-based United through Velocity, but nearly double the cash taxes. What about flights from Australia to Europe? Let's have a look. Now, why into Manchester? Well, because it's usually easier to find reward seats into Manchester rather than London, and it's always a lot cheaper in taxes as well. So this 26-hour trip costs 150,000 Velocity points for 2 passengers and a total of $654 in taxes. While the cash fare is $3,088 minus the taxes for a cash value of $2,434. 2,434 times 100 is 243,400. Divide that by the 150,000 points for a 1.6 cent per point value. While this is significantly lower than the USA flights, it is still 3 times the value of spending your points on a toaster or something. So what's my final verdict? Well, I'd say do it. If the upfront price of flights in cash is what's holding you back from going on holidays or from traveling, absolutely use your points to fly economy. Sure, it won't be the 5 cents per point value of a business class redemption, but it is almost always going to be better value than letting your points sit in your account unused or wasting them on a kettle or a gift card. Just as an example, I've added 2 gift cards to the table below to show you the value. Gift cards and redemptions on any reward stores is usually always 0.5 cents per point. So if you're thinking about spending your points on economy, use our mathematical equations first, check that you're at least getting better than 0.5 cents per point, and then book it. Enjoy your traveling. That's all for now. Good luck on your points journey, and don't forget you can contact me at any time at pointynsecrets@gmail.com for any questions or to organise a strategy meeting to maximise your points for the holiday of your dreams. Let me know in the comments where you want to spend points to travel in economy to. See you at the pointy end.